Welcome back to the regular exclusive podcast. And Renee, I don't really know what to talk about. You got anything for us to talk about to open this episode up?
Well, welcome back to the show, everybody. No, I know it kind of feels like we're in summer, and it just feels like, what is life at this point? We're halfway through this shit year.
We're having UFC fights at the White House.
Like, exactly. What is going on? Up is down. But I do have something. We could talk about a couple new TV shows that are on Apple TV.
My favorite undermarketed streamer.
We're going to tell you about them because they won't tell you about them for some reason. But the first one I want to talk about is Widow's Bay, which you might have heard about.
I've heard some big high praise for this show.
It deserves it. It's the best show I've seen in years. I can't get enough of it. I'm already wanting to rewatch the whole season. Nolan and I binged it in 2 days. But if we had started earlier, we would have done it in a day. All 9 episodes. There's 9 episodes out, and the show's only 30 minutes long. And the finale airs this Friday, and it's one of those rare shows that's the perfect blend of fucking hilarious comedy and really shit scared moments. There's actual horror in the show, but it's not overwhelming if you're not into horror. This is a perfect medium for people. But I would say it's one of the funniest shows. The characters are great, and normally Nolan pointed this out, but normally on a show like this, it kind of feels like a Parks and Rec because it's a small town on an island, definitely not cursed, possibly the next Martha's Vineyard. But in a show like this, Nolan was saying that the main characters are usually the straight kind of, normal character, and everybody around them is the really fun, interesting characters on in the community, right? That's kind of how these shows go. But in this show, the main guy, Matthew Reese, who plays the mayor, he's so good, and he's our favorite, outside of Patricia, which if you watch the show, Patricia, shout out, she's a fucking OG. We love her. But this show is just really one of those rare shows that's an actual horror comedy, and it's as thrilling as it is funny.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just I can't get enough of it. I highly recommend it. If you haven't heard of it, it's available. Basically, you could watch almost the whole season, but I wish I had been watching this week to week because I feel like the theorizing between episodes would be so much fun. And also they just did kind of they have a flashback kind of episode. It's not a full bottle episode or whatever, but it's about the start of the island. And let me just tell you that if you've watched Midnight Mass and the guy who played the priest on there, Hamish Linklater, he also plays the leader of this island when it first started. And he posted about it saying when I heard that they were casting for that, I was hello, that's going to be me. And it's just nice to see him in that kind of a role. Very different, but just excellent.
It's funny. I feel like Apple only markets their shows when they have big actors in it. It's Jake Gyllenhaal is the lead of this show, and then Kate Blanchett is the lead of this other show, and then we have this little show that I've heard nothing but amazing reviews for, and looking at the IMDb, it doesn't have any big name movie star actors in it, so
Matthew Reese is a gem of drama television, so it's nice to see him in comedy because he has some of the best physical comedy, and just his faces that he makes. I can't get over it. He's incredible. I hope he wins Best Comedy Actor at the Emmys if they're eligible this year. But they just also announced that the show has been renewed for season 2, so I am so hyped because I only want to spend more time in this town.
Oh wow! And the creator was a writer for 31 episodes of Parks and Rec, and she also wrote that, I think it's the Melissa McCarthy movie, The Heat. Yep.
Yes, which is a great movie with Sandra Bullock. That one is hilarious if you haven't seen it. She's got a fucking incredible sense of humor, let me just say. And the fact that she could swing so far between and so quickly between something hilarious and then something horrifying, it's insane. I've never seen that kind of thing. Normally when we talk about comedy horror, it's it's light on the horror, it's more violent, or maybe there's ghosts or zombies, whatever, but it's not really scary. This show is very scary. It has a little bit of the X-Files kind of Monster of the Week vibe a little bit. You get to know all these different like curses and urban legends in the town, and it's just like a fucking delight. So highly recommend that show. I think everyone should watch it, regardless of if you're into horror or just comedy or either one or neither. Just check it out, and I think you'll really enjoy it.
All right.
And then the other show you've probably heard of because it, like you said, it has big name talent in it on Apple TV is the Cape Fear limited series, which has just started. I think only 3 episodes are out, but it's the third adaptation of the novel The Executioners. And I was like not sure if we needed another adaptation of this. I still think the Scorsese version is great, but from the 90s. But anyways, this one's like totally won me over in the first episode. The filmmaking's out of control. I think like it's just gorgeous. Like everything about it is just really well made. But Javier Bardem as Max Cady, the guy who's like causing all the drama in the show, is fucking just magnetic to watch him in villain mode again.
I've heard he's just incredible.
He's insane. And it's like you're so nervous whenever he's on screen, but you're also like charmed by him. But you're like, he's just very unpredictable. And it's a different vibe than, No Country for Old Men, but it's like very unsettling, Javier. And they've added a lot to this adaptation, but not like too much where it feels like they're muddling it or muddling like the message of the story. I think what they're doing is like updating it for now, but I think I'm curious where they're going because as someone who's like knows the story and has seen the movies, I don't know where it's going next. I'm not quite sure how they're going to play this version out, and I'm very curious to see. But Amy Adams, Patrick Wilson, also great, but Javier Bardem is, I think, the best Max Cady we've ever got. That's probably a hot take. Sorry, De Niro, but he's amazing.
This has made me think about something that I've thought about a fair amount. Just like, especially nowadays, like TV shows are no longer like the cheaper like medium. Like TV shows now are as expensive, if not more, than movies. And we now have like a pretty, I would say like in the last 5 years, I mean, there's been this before, but like movies that got continued or rebooted as TV shows. And I'm like, I wonder how they decide that. Like, how do they decide, let's make Cape Fear a show instead of another movie?
Yeah, it's interesting to me because that's like, I mean, if they didn't change anything about the story, then there would be no reason because like clearly you could fit it into like, a 2-hour movie. It's fine. And Cape Fear with De Niro, and it's a Scorsese film, like it's great. I do feel De Niro's a little goofy with his Southern accent. It just doesn't frighten me as much.
He's 91.
He's like kind of gross, and I think like ugh, but like he doesn't like scare me as much. He's just like a weird, creepy hick. But here, I find Javier Bardem just like unpredictable, and like I don't know what his goal is, and like you don't actually know a lot about him. And as you're finding stuff out, it just is very different from the way it unrolls in the show, and they've changed a lot. So to me, if you're gonna do a movie like that, you must have a plan to change it and provide something that's going to be different than what the movie tells you and what you get from the movie. Because like if they're just doubling up and just doing the same experience but dragging it out for 10 episodes, it's going to be irritating. I will say, so in the original movie, and I think both movies, and probably I haven't read the novel, but I'm assuming Max Cady kills the family dog pretty early on. And in this one, we don't have a family dog. We have a family cat whose name is Peanut Butter, and everyone is concerned because we really like Peanut Butter. He is cute, and what a great name for a cat. So
that is a great name.
Yeah, and this Max Cady like adopted a dog that was like chained up in a yard. So like I don't know if he's a good guy. Like, is he a good guy? Maybe he's not. I'm not sure. But like, please don't kill the cat, dog, anything. Like, I just hope maybe that's another big change they'll have. But I think it's interesting, honestly. I'd be curious what you think about it. But in general, I just think if you have seen the original movies, you know the story well. If you haven't, like either way, I think there's a lot for everybody. And Javier Bardem is just something to watch.
Yeah, I mean, also on the list for me and Sarah. I mean, yeah, I'm just curious of like all this upcoming movies that are getting shows. Like the obvious one is like Harry Potter. But then like isn't Friday the 13th getting a show? Like they've been working on a show
series
for a while.
Yeah, and actually, as of today, Jason just showed up in Dead by Daylight. They finally have figured out the rights with Jason. And another little shout for Dead by Daylight, just because they had their big streaming event for their 10-year anniversary yesterday. But they announced that, or Blumhouse announced that they attached a director to the Dead by Daylight film, so that's officially happening.
There's going to be a Dead by Daylight movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
they announced it a couple months ago, but they just announced the director, and then yesterday at the event, they announced that they're doing a collaboration with Damien Leone, and Art the Clown is coming to Dead by Daylight finally as a playable character. So I'm like, I know when I'm going to be playing villain all the time.
Microtransactions about to go through the roof.
Dude, I just want to know what his bag of tricks, what does he have? Like all of the ways that he kills people. There's too many ways. But anyways, just had to shout that out while we're mentioning Dead by Daylight. But yeah, I think it's interesting how they're like doing a lot of these. I don't know how that's gonna go for Harry Potter. They've already renewed that shit ahead of even like us seeing it. So they're like, we're committing to this shit with this much money. Like we're greenlighting it before we even have the numbers on it. It's crazy. But I don't know, maybe we'll see. Like overall, this has been fine, but like maybe I think it only works if you have if it's an adaptation, like a film adaptation based on a novel where you have more stuff to go off of, or you have like a whole other way into the story that you're going to tell. But like, it can't just be for every movie. Like this is not like, let's take every film from the 90s right now and do this, or the 2000s. Like we don't need that.
Like I'm waiting for us to get a Top Gun show.
I mean, 10 hours of fucking flying planes, they would do it. Game of Thrones is probably the reason that we have all these huge budget TV shows. So fuck them twice for screwing us over and then now for doing this.
I mean, you know me, I love when people get mad about nonsensical things in movies. Yeah, so like I'm hoping the Harry Potter, I hope they just change everything. I just want to see people lose their mind.
I mean, they already are. Yeah, they already are. So I think I
saw like rumors that Daniel Kaluuya is in talks to be Sirius Black, and
really
the comment section just like, oh, it's Sirius Black. It doesn't mean he has to be black. And it's like,
I bet okay, people. Yeah, get out of here. At least that's like what the Harry Potter show could be consistent about. They did it with like, they're just going to keep doing that for the next 10 years, however long that goddamn shit airs.
Just make the Harry Potter show the most rage baited show of all time. Like
already accomplished. They just got to keep that going. Like, don't let us down with season 2, season 3, keep it going. As good as those movies are, that's how bad I want the TV show to be. But at least the Apple TV shows, I know I'm complaining about like IP being movies, but like I will say, like Cape Fear, if so far 3 episodes in, it feels like this is okay. I'm okay with an adaptation here for TV that's different, but there is a limit to my blessings that I'll get.
I like what you're saying though. Like if it's based off a book,
there's inherently more there.
Because movies always cut stuff out. So it's like if we make a show from a book, then we don't have to cut things out. And I like that, rather than just doing a shot for shot remake, do an extended, essentially a 10-hour long version of the movie.
Yeah, and even if you're like this one's completely changing the story and all of the stuff where it's like in the original novel and the original movie, like it's pretty obvious that the hero is the main guy who's the lawyer and like the bad guy is Max Cady. But like in the 90s version, they kind of like muddy that a little bit where the lawyer's kind of like at fault for not doing his job right. And here they're really leading into that where I'm like, are the lawyers going to be the ultimate bad guys? And Max Cady's the hero now? Like, I'm not sure. But I think like if you're having something new to say at that like ultimate, what the point of the story is, like that makes sense. But we'll see. Obviously, 3 episodes out of 10 is not very much. But for 9 out of 10 with Widow's Bay, I highly recommend you all pay a visit.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, let's take a little break and then get into Keeper. I don't wanna play in your yard.
Can I trust this man?
Can I trust this woman?
There's something special about you.
You make the children.
I want to go.
I want to leave now. I want to go back to before.
Let's talk about Oz Perkins' hat trick, Keeper.
Yes, his third film, like right in a row after a couple of bangers.
It's crazy because like, so you told me this when we talked about Long Legs. You're like, he did this movie and then he was already filming another movie, or like the movie was already done or something.
I think he shot The Monkey, and between starting on Long Legs and like after they finished The Monkey, him and a smaller crew, but like part of the same crew, and Tatiana Maslany, they shot Keeper, and then he shot Long Legs. So Long Legs came out first, but I believe it was shot last, which is nuts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but they shot him in the same crew for all three films, basically.
That's wild. So, okay. Yeah. So he kind of did the Ty West thing with X, where he just filmed these three movies back to back. Ty West took a little bit of break between Pearl and Maxine, but like, yeah, he had three movies that all came out essentially 6 months away from each other. So like Long Legs came out in July 2024, and then The Monkey came out February 2025, and then Keepers came out November 2025. And all of these movies have no more of a budget than 10 million. Keeper had the smallest budget at 6 million. But like, that's crazy. And then also, it's insane how unrelated these movies are. Like, as I was watching Keeper, which my experience with Oz Perkins essentially is these three movies. I know he's had a couple other ones, but like,
we can just call him Oz, by the way. We're not friends with him, but he does also go by Oz.
Oz
the
Great and Powerful.
Yeah, he's Oz the Great and Powerful in my eyes, because I've gone back. I've only not seen one. There's only one of his films I haven't seen. His first film, which is, I think, on Netflix, called The Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. But these are like three I would say most people are probably going to be like, these are what I know for Oz Perkins, because these are like his major releases. I don't think a lot of people knew about him before this.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're like in the horror community, or like had seen his like indie films, like The Black Coat's Daughter, which is like very different. But honestly, all of his movies, I have to say, are almost very different from each other.
And that was the thing when I was watching Keeper. I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, this guy does not give a fuck about what genre he belongs to. Like, we talk about directors and how like they have success in one style of movie. Like we always say Martin Scorsese. He's kind of the blueprint of like, he made success in a gangster movie, and then almost every movie since then is kind of a gangster movie. And Oz just does not care. He's like, I'm going to do a crazy possession slasher, satanic slasher with Nicolas Cage and the most prosthetics you've ever seen on a person. And then I'm going to do a Final Destination inspired Stephen King story.
Kind of, like, yeah.
And then we're going to do Keepers, this slow burn sort of like, I don't know. This movie reminded me of like a ghost supernatural version of Fresh. We're
totally. Nolan got that confused too when I told him like the plot of like he takes her to a cabin and then it's like, oh, he has bad intentions. But it's like he was like, is that the one with Sebastian Stan? I'm like, no, but that's close. But you're right. Fresh.
Great minds think alike.
It is. It seems like it. And for like both movies, they play like a not like this one's more like a drama film, less like a rom-com, but like they seem happy for like the first 20 minutes. Maybe,
you don't have the charm of Sebastian Stan to make you think like, oh, he's a nice guy. Like this guy does not have that at all. I had red flags very early on.
Well, his name is Rossif Sutherland, which his dad is Donald Sutherland, who just passed away. Great actor and also wonderful at being those villainous kind of characters. He's also the half brother of Kiefer Sutherland. So but I was like, this guy, I think the more I've watched this movie, the first time I was like, he felt kind of flat to me. But then the second time I watched it, I was like, no, he was pitch perfect.
Yeah,
I think he's literally so perfect for what he's supposed to be in this movie. And like,
I don't want to be misconstrued as me saying that he did a bad job. I think he did a really good job.
Yeah.
Just comparing him to Sebastian Stan. It's totally different. It's not a fair comparison.
And then he's also like acting with Tatiana Maslany in this movie. And you're just like,
he's wonderful.
She's so good. So the monkey, one of the things I loved about the monkey was her as the mother.
Yeah.
And I would say like, with how different these movies are, the one thing that you can really say is the one through line in these movies is like mothers who really love their children and are willing to do anything for them. It feels like the monkey is like maybe not like your typical mom, but she was a great mom, right?
Yeah.
And same with in this one, it's all about mother and children and like the motherhood angle. And then also same with Longlegs, obviously, with her mother, which is a big thing with Oz Perkins. And so I just think that's like weird how it's like, that's like such a great through line, but it's so interesting how it comes in these three different, very, very, very different ways. And this one is probably the most hard to like wrap your head around for most people because it's very different from both Longlegs and the monkey. So I feel like if you had gotten in, and a lot of people feel like if you like the monkey, you didn't like Longlegs. If you like Longlegs, you didn't like the monkey because it's so different. But if you like, so that's the thing is like, I don't know what to tell you. If you liked one of those, I don't know if you would like Keeper, but I think it's like a harder watch, but it's great. Like it's dripping with atmosphere. First off, like all of his movies are. I don't think any of his movies are like all the. So I just looked it up too. I was wrong. Blackcoat's Daughter is actually his first film, which stars Kiernan Shipka and Emma Roberts. So crazy, but that one as well too. I mean, all of these, it's just everything he does is all like there's just such a vibe with Oz Perkins. That's one of the things I think that is so strong with him, no matter what he's doing. He
has such a visual style, and like, one of the things that like I loved about Longlegs was how much your eyes were drawn to like the empty space in a frame. And like you're just expecting something to be there, something's behind Micah Monroe, like something like that. And it's like very Hereditary coded, where like you think you see something, but you're not sure. And the monkey didn't really have that.
No, it's way more in the comedy, kind of like extreme, like you said, Final Destination, where it's like more splatter gore, and
more
like
jump
fun.
Scares, and fun.
And
but
silly.
Then like he brought that back for Keeper, and like the first half of this movie is really, really slow, but like those little visual flares are so good at just like
right.
Like the whole first half of the movie, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
What's the plot? And like, it's weird. I would say like the best example of that is like when she so they have the chocolate cake there thing, right? And then when she goes down at night and fucking eats the whole thing, like he managed to make that look really disturbing, I thought. Which is crazy because I'm like, I would fucking go nuts to eat chocolate cake at any time of the day. But like he really did the aesthetic of that so well that it was like really unsettling, wasn't it?
I'm like, oh, Osgood Perkins definitely watches some mukbang videos. Do you know what mukbang is?
No, I don't want to. What is it?
It's a YouTube like subgenre of like ASMR sort of thing where like people just eat tons and tons of food. And it's
Okay,
all
I'm
about
so
just
glad I don't know what
stuffing
that
your
is until
face and
now. I'm
gorging
never
on
gonna
it.
watch it.
But like
Ugh.
I've seen clips of some stuff, and I'm like, oh, Osgood Perkins did his research. He because she just like takes handfuls and just shoves it in her face.
And it's just so like it's so grotesque because it's like even the way that they shoot it, it's dark, right? But like the way that he shoots it, it's like it doesn't even it looks like there's some what else is in that cake? Like looks like blood and like
It's kind of like
textured.
it's kind of like lit by the refrigerator light.
Yeah, it's like I mean, it's perfect metaphor for like anytime anyone gets up for a midnight snack from the fridge and you're just like chowing down. I'm sure it looks horrific if you're like fucking on the other side of that. However, this was just like there's moments like that that hit you and they're just like really off or like really like weird and creepy, but then like you go back to like this. I still have no idea why I'm creeped out or like what that was. It takes a while for it to like I mean this is one of those movies where it's like all the way till like the last 30 minutes probably is when the shit actually finally starts happening fully.
Yeah.
But like if you go back and rewatch it, actually it's great because you could see little moments and it just makes a lot more sense because like I feel like the first time I watched it I was so like what the fuck is going on? I don't know about you, but like
I was like
where
where are we going?
Yeah, where are we going from here? Because it's like it's just bizarre. It's like, you know, then the cousin, like they're having dinner. The cousin shows up with his girlfriend, and like the way that he's talking is weird. And like his girlfriend doesn't speak any language, and he's like, or she doesn't speak any English. She only speaks Russian. And it's just like that's a weird vibe. And then when he shows back up later and he's like surprised to see her and like forces his way in, you're like, what the fuck is this? Like there's just all these weird things happening for a long time. But like it's so unsettling. But then you're also like, I think because Tatiana Maslany is like so incredible that you're also like, I just need her to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, I need this bitch to figure out what the fuck's going on and get the fuck out of here.
So I did just want to say before we just jump fully into the movie. So yeah, these three movies were made at the same time. They were released within 6 months of each other. And you know, Neon was the distributor for this. And Neon, you know, by all metrics, this 3-movie deal was a win because so each movie had less than $10 million in budget. The first movie, Long Legs, you know, crushed it with like 127 million worldwide. And then The Monkey did good at 68 million worldwide. Keeper had a pretty massive fall off. I think like you were saying, if you liked long legs, then you might not like The Monkey. If you like The Monkey, you might not like Long Legs. Based off,
maybe
if you liked either
people.
of those, we still don't know if you'll like Keeper. But Keeper, you know, it essentially
it's probably the most divisive of all three.
Yeah, like it had a budget of 6 million and it grossed 6 million worldwide. So, but even still, the package of all three,
yeah, and he has a first look deal with
successful.
them. So they clearly are like, we want to be in the Oz Perkins business. And he shot all of them with the same crew. And it's like their creative juices were just flowing. And that's basically why we got Keeper. So the fact that it's like the bonus film of the three, and the fact that like, yeah, maybe it didn't make the most money, but like the fact that they were still like jamming after making Long Legs and The Monkey. And they were like, let's fucking like, you know, they're like, you know, working together on those. And like, obviously this one kind of came in the middle, but like jazzed up to like throw in another story is just like a really cool thing. And I think we should encourage that kind of behavior from creative talent. So I love the fact that they are buying into it.
And I think Keeper is kind of the victim of Oz's success because like the other two made a ton of money. And then this one is very different from both of those. And so I think people were expecting something, which you should have learned. Don't expect anything from this guy because he's going to do whatever he wants.
Between The Monkey and Long Legs, I think people figured out like I don't really know how to read this guy's films, and maybe they weren't sure, and maybe it just needs a stronger hook to get people in, like the Stephen King aspect of The Monkey versus like because if you didn't like Long Legs, it was all about I think the people who didn't like it were like the marketing scheme was too much, but like that's why it made so much money is because they marketed it with these like really ominous teasers that were like satanic. It didn't show anything to do with the movie. And everyone was like super hyped on it because we knew it was about a serial killer starring Nick Cage. That's all we needed to know. But Keeper went back to that kind of marketing after the monkey went more traditional. Yeah, so it was like the first teaser. I think we talked about it on the pod even for like probably just an intro of like it's literally Tatiana Maslany like laying down with her like scratching on the fucking paper like for like an hour straight. And you're like, what the fuck is this? So maybe people were just like a little bit more cautious about approaching that kind of marketing a second time with him too. But like for me, I was like, yes, give me more weird ass teasers that mean nothing to me. Even the actual first trailer for this film was bizarre. Like it was just a montage, which is basically the opening of the movie of women being happy looking at you and then slowly getting angry and then scared and then horrified. And like it was great, but and I think that was a great hook, but maybe just like they needed to try a little different, or maybe it needs a different story that has a better hook to get people in the theater, get their butts in the seats.
Yeah. Or maybe don't come out 6 months after the monkey. Because
maybe give people time. Maybe that's also it. I mean, there's a lot of factors, but like for me, I was like, I would take more Oz Perkins 24/7 anytime you got it. So like inject it into my veins. But I just constantly love the fact that like if there's like I can't get over the fact if there's a new filmmaker and I'm going to be constantly surprised by his work. I feel like the same about Ari Aster. Yeah. I'm like all in on them. I want to see everything that they're doing all the time. And Jordan Peele, like these guys who are just like every film of theirs feels unique and different from each other. And yet they have such a control on their style that maybe not everything works for you as well as the previous movie or whatever. But like, I think all of them are well done fucking like artistic masterpieces, honestly, for each of these filmmakers. So like the fact that Oz Perkins is like in the talks with those guys, I think is pretty great.
Yeah.
Well, and I would say these three really just cement that, even regardless of your thoughts. There
was a Letterboxd review I wanted to share. And I felt like this really summed up these three movies. This guy, his name is Movie Matt. He did not like this movie at all, but he gave it 1 star. But I thought what he said, though, I thought was very interesting because we talk about how good Neon was with these three movies. And his review was, Dear Neon, please stop marketing Osgood Perkins films so well. It only makes the disappointment that much worse. Like Neon is so good at marketing that it actually people, this movie didn't do well because of expectations, because of how good the marketing was. Like that's a compliment, to Neon. In that,
is it a diss though to Oz Perkins? I will not stand for that kind of Oz Perkins slander on this podcast. However, it's funny joke, but I still feel like I think maybe just your personal opinion, buddy, because I think a lot of people really like his stuff, and he's just a different type of filmmaker, like you're saying, and like I don't think a lot of slow burn horror films are like super popular at the box office. Like Long Legs is pretty slow, but it's way faster paced if you think about it compared to Keeper. Yeah. I just feel like the slower burn kind of a movie is like The Witch. Like I know that one was a big movie when it came out, but like when I first tried to watch it, I was like, fuck no, I'm gonna watch that with subtitles because I can't understand shit. And also I was like, where is this going? But like when you watch it finally, like I loved it. It was incredible. But like I don't think those movies are going to be big box office things anyways. Yeah. Slow burns. But the fact that he has like this range and can do all these different things within such a short period of time, really execute three very different visions is amazing. And obviously he's the son of fucking Anthony Perkins, who played Norman Bates in Psycho. So he's like Hollywood royalty, it feels like, and a Nepo baby who's really, I think, earning his keep.
Yeah. I mean, as someone with ADHD, I love how ADHD he is with his movies. Like he feels like someone who's just like, I just have to keep going. I can't stop.
Yeah. And I want to do something different than I did before. Like he's trying something new, Yeah.
Like I feel like at some point Osgood Perkins is gonna I don't know, he's gonna win an Oscar or something. And
I hope so. That's the dream.
We're gonna look back at his filmography and be like, oh yeah, this is where he was flexing or stretching or trying something different, like not just riding the same ship, but like actively growing and getting better. Because like one thing that Keeper does that's different than like, the closest comparison I would say to the other Oz movies is like this is closest to Long Legs, but they're still very different movies. But like Keeper kind of does a little bit of like folk horror. So it like
It's way more folk horror.
reminded me of like Hokum or Oddity, where you have just kind of this mysticism about it, rather than supernatural. Like I guess it falls under supernatural, but
I
yeah,
would
like
put it in the
folk
folk
horror
horror category for sure. And even I would also put this in like kind of the dark fairy tale kind of a thing, because especially with the romantic angle. But yeah, like this is absolutely something that is like way more of that kind of, like you said, folk horror, kind of that mysterious vibe, and more of like creating the vibe around the character that you're watching, like in a similar way, and isolating them and like making them kind of feel insane in a similar way to The Shining. I feel there's a lot of similarities to The Shining, especially with like, I would say the transitions in this movie, like the fading of scenes into like where she's like fading into the water, and then like later we see her fall in the water. Just like, I just think there's a lot of really beautiful moments in this movie that remind me a lot of like the fades and like just some of the incredible cinematography of The Shining. And it really like helps you like get established of like the location that you're at, but also the fact of that, like it really drives home the isolation, which is the main point, I think.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, like we get into the movie and we're first introduced to the cousin Darren. It's just like he's an asshole. And I mean,
and he's got a girlfriend who doesn't even speak English, and he just crashes the party after he's like, oh yeah, I doubt he's even around, right?
Yeah. I mean, first off, the actor Burkett Tartan, he was fantastic at being a douche cousin. Like when he came from like the first line to then every time he came on screen, I'm like, oh, this fucking guy.
This fucking guy. Literally, I was like, you could just feel Tatiana Maslany's like irritation, and I felt like her just like reactions, like kind of micro expressions, were just like, yes, I am with you 100%, bitch. And then I love how they just like leave, and like she's stuck there like with the chick who doesn't speak English, Minka.
Yeah.
And she's like, and then she just like is looking at her. She's like, "Are you okay?" And it's like, she's like, "Do you?" Or what she says, she's like doing Molly or some shit.
Well, like she
does speak a little bit.
Yeah, but she doesn't speak whenever Darren's around.
Yeah, basically, whenever she does, and she does speak a little. I mean, we later hear her be like, "I wish for Uber," or like, she does have a little bit of English, but like the way that he talks down to her when he's around her, like, who fucking cares what you have to say? Anyways, doesn't matter. And he's like, the way that he's like, oh, well, my cousin's always the romantic one. He's got to do it all special. And you're like, it kind of makes sense where you're just like, obviously he's just being a weirdo about like him actually being in a relationship versus like him just being a ladies' man, supposedly, is what you kind of think he's talking about.
Yeah. And then Minka dies in the woods.
Well, yeah. And before, I was gonna say, the one thing that she does also say is that it tastes like shit about the cake. Yeah. She warns her. But yeah, then when she dies in the woods, I forgot about that scene, and I really love how it's shot. Did you like that?
And I loved it because we've seen a bunch of like scary things happening in the woods before, but I was not expecting her to get catapulted up a tree like horizontally.
And like the part of the tree that you see on like the other side of it, you're like, oh, that kind of looks like something. And then it grabs her and you're like, oh, fuck, like, what is that? And then it just like rips her up the tree and you're like, no, really, what the fuck was that? Like, there's a lot of stuff in this movie that like you might think where you've seen something like this in a cabin setting or like in the woods, and you've seen something similar, but like then it goes in a different direction. And you're like, wait, no, I don't actually know what's gonna happen here. And like all the way down to like when you finally meet the creatures, like the creature design is out of control.
Incredible.
But like the whole mystery element of like a woman at a cabin with a guy that she thinks that she knows, and then is this clearly more suspicious of the man is definitely something we've seen a lot and has been done before. But then I think like for this, it's like you can't quite pin down what exactly is wrong for a while.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is different, because in the other ones, it's like it feels like you're like, oh, I see where, like, oh, yeah, I know what he's up to. Or like, I don't know, until it takes the nice pivot. But this one is way more of a slow. It's not like a slow burn to get to that point where it's just like when you rewatch it, really those things stand out. But like the first time, you're almost like, this guy is a nice guy.
Yeah.
Unless he has a wife in the city. I don't really know what his big secret is, right?
Well, and I was going to say the friend on the phone, she did a great job of being that like skeptical friend that you never see on camera.
Yeah.
It's all just over the phone. And when she's like, you're the other girl, you're the side piece. I was like, oh, interesting. Like I hadn't really thought of that, maybe because I'm a guy, but like, him going into the city to see a patient sort of thing. Like,
but then in the back of your mind, aren't you just like, who the fuck would cheat on Tatiana Maslany? That's what I was thinking. So I'm like, I don't think he's cheating on her. I think he's like gonna kill her or something, but like I don't think he's gonna cheat on her. I don't know. For some reason, when he said he loved her and like when he was with her, I kind of felt like I believed him. But I was like, also like that made me more nervous. But the friend, when she called that out, you're like, okay, yeah, that's where I'm leaning. But that can't be it, obviously, because this is an Oz Perkins film. We wouldn't be here if it was just they're cheating.
Well, and it's a good like, I don't know, opposites between. Is he actually a cousin or are they brothers?
I think but when you learn the twist at the end, they're brothers. But if like they act like they're cousins.
Yeah. So it's like kind of an like complete opposites of their approach. Like where Malcolm, actually like develops feelings to lure these people out. Darren is just a fuck boy and just goes pick people up at the bar. He's like, hey, I got a cabin. You want to come out to the cabin? Like,
just literally like women that don't speak English is a plus, and that's what the funny thing is like when you find out how they're all doing this, I think that's where like a lot of the movie starts to really make sense. But the fact that like Darren is just so like, of course, like, I mean, obviously they reveal it's been a long time that they've been doing this. And that's like when you finally get like the montage at the beginning and you're like, oh, okay. And they even give you a little bit more of like them all being horrified or like dying.
So like, I wanted to ask you some clarification questions.
Okay.
So
we'll get into the twist.
So part of the deal is they bring people and then they get to live long. They bring women and then they get to live longer.
So the greatest part I think about this movie, and like one of the things that makes it a little bit harder to fully grasp what's going on, I think, is because the only exposition that we get is from Malcolm, the guy at the end, who tells her basically what he is understanding this whole arrangement to be and what this whole like what is actually happening. But him and his brother, like I don't think they actually fucking get a clue as to what's actually happening, because they think that the children that the original Tatiana Maslany as a witch back in the old days when they shot her and she gave birth on their property, and it seems like the children that she left behind, they're the ones that they think they're getting eternal life from the children just for keeping them fed. But they're not actually being a parent to them, right? They're just like, they're standing in their own filth. They like hide in the corners of the house. They have these powers, but like they don't do anything with it except give us life because we give them food every so often. But I think what the real idea is that the children, like that might be what they think that they're doing, but really they're allowing the men to continue to live long enough until they find the reincarnation of their mother and bring her home.
Yeah, because like, at the end, he's an old man. And like I read something and they're saying like the flashback is like 200 years earlier. So they essentially are like kind of living the immortals as long as they keep feeding them. And that's why when everything changes at the end, that's why he becomes an old man.
Yeah. So which makes sense because you're like, so basically they're like the They're the children's, like, I don't know if they're demons or witch children, whatever the fuck they are. They're very unique looking. But basically, like, by the end, it seems like with the cake, they're testing all the women that they bring there as like a test of, if you're my mother, are you our mother? And then each one that they bring home that was not, clearly they are like, okay, well, we're just going to kill you so that they bring us another one. And
Yes.
that's the cake was the test. So normally they would just eat a little bit and not like it. But like she
ate the whole
thing. And so it's part of the magic of it. I would assume that, like, if you're the real mother, you would eat the whole thing and it would not affect you, where like you're not going to be drugged and like incapacitated like the other women would be just from a piece, which I thought was interesting. I don't know how that logically makes sense, but it's magic, so who the fuck cares, right?
Yeah, I mean, the cake was the first like big red flag for me. I was like, why the fuck is Malcolm pushing this cake so hard?
Especially after she doesn't like chocolate. I'm like, well, then this feels like a bit much, because he's like, oh, the housekeeper's gonna be offended. It's like, then you eat it, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna fucking eat it. And then it's like, would she? Yeah. So that it seems like that was their test. And so basically, like, the men thought that it was like they were stupid creatures and that they were just like needing someone to watch them, and that they just did the bare minimum and were given eternal life. But really, they were just allowing them to live until they brought their mother back home, because they were just wanting their mother. That's all they needed. Yeah. And so at the end, when Liz is finally back, and that's why, like, I love the scene when like they all surround her in the basement and they're all laughing and stuff. I was like, I never thought we would get a scene that was creepier than Midsommar, with like one woman like laugh crying and like all of the other women laughing, and it's like disturbing. But this was more disturbing, and especially because they have like, some of them have like 3 different faces on their face, and they're like so creepy looking. But it was like so kind of like, what the fuck is happening? I loved it. Like, it wasn't like, it was scary, but I was also like, oh, this is gonna be good. Like, now they're gonna be like, you know, in cahoots together. And so when at the end, when he's hanging upside down and she has like the black eyes, and it's like she's fully regained her powers that she had originally as the witch. Yeah. And she's able to finally get revenge on Malcolm after like 200 years.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So I just really loved it, because it's like he's talking about her and like the children as if they're like a fish that is offering, you know, these 3 wishes to you. But like, why doesn't it wish for itself? Because it can't save itself. It's just a fucking fish. But it's like, you're the fish, idiot. And that's what I love. It's very much like a misogyny story about like this man, and even the way that he thinks he's not doing it wrong. He thinks he's doing it the better way, and like, it's okay because, you know, you're giving your life for me. That's true love. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, let's talk about Tatiana Maslany, because she is fantastic in this. Like she was my favorite part of the monkey, outside of the explosion kills, because those were hilarious. But she was so good in the monkey that like she was the entire reason why I wanted to see this, because like I didn't understand what was going on from the trailers, but I'm like, I love her, and she is fantastic in this. And like she's one of those actors that I'm like, man, I wish you were in more stuff. Like, I feel like
Rachel McAdams, I feel, where it's like, why aren't they in everything? Because they're so fucking talented.
Yeah, like I feel like She-Hulk really just like was a roadblock for her career. Now, you and I are fans of She-Hulk, and
I'll tell you, but I will say, I don't think people held that show back because of her at all. They were like, that show is held back because of the fucking like the writing and the like, you know, the CGI or whatever. That was the complaints. I didn't hear necessarily like complaints about her.
Yeah, I don't know.
Her performance.
I feel like she's just wrapped into it, you know.
Totally. I'm sure it wasn't great.
Yeah, but like, you know, I didn't watch the whole show, but like I watched some of like Orphan Black, where she plays like multiple versions of herself, and she's great in that. She was great in She-Hulk. But yeah, like I feel like after She-Hulk, she was supposed to like become a really big star, and then it just wasn't received well. And so now she's doing like these smaller budget movies. But like, man, I hope she's in everything. Because like whenever I see her, I love her. And she's so good in this at just being like this woman that's in this weird situation and is freaked out. And like her responses to everything are warranted, where she's like, I want to go. let's get
Let
out of
me
here.
leave. Yeah.
The only time where she didn't react, where I thought she should have, is when she found the Rolex in the sink. I'm like, okay, so we're just not gonna wonder about this. Like
at that point, she's like, I hope he fucking got, or
Yeah.
like, he exploded after doing it. I don't know. He got his hand stuck in there, like Final Destination shit, panicked and ran. I don't care. That's fine. But she does mention it to Malcolm. She does say it's, which don't fucking ask me what that's about. But like, so she's like, I just have too much shit to be concerned about that's like low on my priority list. But I love the fact that like you're so like, okay, yeah, she literally is, she's making smart moves. She's thinking about things. She's actually questioning him on shit.
Yeah.
And then I love the way that like when he's finally telling her like what's about to happen and that she's gonna die, like her fear, I feel like is so incredible in that scene.
She is fantastic during all the scary moments.
Yeah, when she's scared at any point in this movie, but like I just was that last part, I just feel like the way that like she's like gasping and like so horrified. Just the whole movie is great, but like yeah, that part especially, whenever she's terrified, it's just I feel it.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't fucking hurt her.
Yeah. Like she emotes with her entire face, and it's so good. And it's also really good, like as the audience, where like, I feel like I should be as scared as she is.
Yeah,
because like it's freaky, like when she's crawling up the stairs and then like the ghost is like crawling up the ceiling and stuff in the frame, like
yeah,
oh my god, and then she looks back and it's not there, and then it just pops up and it's like, oh she's so good. And also those scenes are just, that's full the Great Oz, where it's just like terrifying. I don't know what the right word is, but like stuff happening around the middle of the frame where it's just like your eyes are looking everywhere to try and see it.
Empty space, and then when you do see it, you're like, fuck, I wish I didn't see that. Like it's like when you see it, it's like, and then I love the fact that like these aren't creatures that are like flashed on screen at any moment. Like when you finally see them, they are upsetting as fuck, and they're like in your face for a while. They're slow. That whole basement scene when she's surrounded by it's very slow, like the slow crawl down the stairs, and how long that's in the background, you almost forget about it, but you're like, oh, that one's coming over there too, like, and then the like long necks. I would say like for me, one of the creepiest scenes though was like when she's in the kitchen and like she just turns around and it's like the bag-headed one, and it's like, but it's fucking hands under its face. I was like, oh no fucking way, I'd be out of here. Kill me now. That was upsetting. Yeah, every time, I mean, she just can totally lead a movie like this, and she could lead any kind of movie, I'm pretty sure. But she was so like, you're so with her this whole time, and she was just incredible. I think, like, I did see that she is in the next Oz Perkins film. I just looked that up.
Thank God.
And he also it's called The Young People. Love the name, and it stars Tatiana Maslany. It also has Nicole Kidman and Heather Graham and Johnny Knoxville. And then a bunch of young actors that I don't know.
Interesting.
So I was like, those aren't young people. Minus Tatiana Maslany and like, but we know Johnny Knoxville, Heather Graham, Nicole Kidman, they ain't young anymore. But the fact that she's going to be in this, I love that because I really enjoy her performances in both of the Oz Perkins films already, but like how different they are, really.
Yeah. And yeah, that scene when she goes into the basement and like she sees the head with the bullet in it, and also all the flashbacks are great, and like
so
how they're done and everything.
I really thought that was just like a fascinating style, kind of like the floaty dream kind of vibes. Every time you're like, and it's the montage of the different women and like just, and then you kind of keep flashing back to like when Tatiana Maslany's flashbacks and stuff. I just thought that they all had like this dream-like sense to them, which made me feel very fairy tale vibes.
Yeah. And like
even down to the like kind of almost creepy, witchy, almost like fairy face of the creatures.
Yeah.
They almost look like like dark, fucked up fairy witches things that are scary.
And great mix of practical and CGI. Like all of the ghosts look great. And then you have the baghead lady. She takes it off and she's the face of like all of the women that have been caught up in this. And like, that's clearly CGI, but like, it looks great.
when they did the close-up shot of like the one with all the faces around her and she's just like fucking reacting, I was like, oh, this is like, I'm gonna be driven insane looking at this shit. I would be. And the fact that like Tatiana Maslany starts laughing, you're like, because at first like she's like scared and then she sees them like hold up the shrunken head and it's like, what the fuck is what she says? And you're like, yeah. But then when she starts laughing, we're like, I'm nervous, but I'm also like, oh, okay, this is gonna be okay but I'm like, I'm scared. But then when she has those black eyes at the end, you're like, oh yes, I just want her. I want a sequel of her with these powers and these children. What the fuck are they up to all the time in the woods? What are they gonna do?
Yeah, give us the revenge story. But yeah, like,
I mean, they already did on one of them, but it sounded like from what the husband or from what Malcolm says. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but it kind of seemed like the whole neighborhood was in on it.
Oh, I didn't really catch on that. I mean, I was pretty done with Malcolm after he locks her up, and great call out. That scene is very much like Midsommar when they're like
they're
screaming,
yeah,
and like
crying.
She's just like
other.
Laughing and freaking out, realizing that she's the reincarnated witch. Like something.
Yeah.
But like I was out on Malcolm. I mean, I was already out at this point. But when he's sitting there listening to her screaming and he puts the sunglasses on, I was like, you put those Morpheus-looking sunglasses and then takes them off 5 seconds later. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
he's just playing with her. He's
villain.
Like, he's got the mementos of her stuff. That's what he's going through and like putting it in a box. And then he goes and puts it in. I think for me, what really sealed that he's a creepo was like, I mean, besides the fact that he is, but when he's like in like putting her box in there with all the others and like introducing them and like strolling down memory lane, like that's something serial killers do, buddy. Not past lovers, not when they're all dead. Like it's different, you know. And the fact that like I thought maybe he was not gonna want to sacrifice her in the end. I thought he wouldn't want to, but the fact that he still did, I'm like, well, I'm definitely fucking out on this guy. That like when he wakes up and he's all old, I was like at first like, what the fuck? But I'm like, oh yes. It was like such great, and he looked really creepy when they showed him like a hung upside down old. Like he was very disturbing looking. It was great.
And I love how they didn't show us Tatiana Maslany. Like they didn't show her with the black eyes until like the very end. You just hear her talking, and the way she talks sounds so different than like before, because she's like, I'm a fucking witch. I'm confident. I'm not scared in this moment. Like it was such a great sort of like full circle thing. And then him getting his due justice.
The cake first, that she's like, this fork is going in your face one way or another. It might as well taste good. Like, open your mouth. I was like, that's a great line. I just like really enjoyed that line. It's so silly, but and then like I think the hard cut to like him just getting his head dipped in that giant honey jar and then just like zooming out was like one of those really spectacular, like disturbingly gorgeous ending shots, like similar to Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Where it's like you look at that like out of context, but it's like it could be an art piece on its own. Like I feel like it's so grotesquely beautiful.
Yeah.
Like it's a disturbing thing I'm looking at, but for some reason these evil masterminds have made it beautiful.
Yeah.
Because that's how I felt. Like I was like, this just feels right. And I was like, oh, the honey, that makes sense. And I was like, honestly, I was hoping a big fat bear was going to come in and just start chewing on his fucking head. But maybe that was a bit too far.
A Winnie the Pooh blood and honey crossover.
Oh, shit. Oz Perkins really could do anything if that was the case. But I'm just glad that you really liked this movie, because I felt like, I know that you liked Longlegs and the Monkey, but like this feels like the one that you're like, if people like are gonna hate him or not like his stuff anymore, this could be one of the ones that is like that for them. So
well, yeah, and this is a movie that I feel like if you didn't like it, you should try watching it again in like 6 months or something. Because when I first saw the Monkey, I didn't like it, and I didn't like it because I was expecting Longlegs.
Yeah.
So like Longlegs was my first introduction to the Oz, and I'm like, okay, here we go. We got this style that's gonna happen. And then I saw the Monkey, and I'm like, did I watch the wrong movie? What happened?
This is not the same director, is it? Holy fuck, what? And then you watch this and you're like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
And this, I would say, like, also, if you like Keeper, though, there's a bunch of movies that you should look up if you're like, I mean, just honestly, slow burn horror. But if you like this one, I would say check out The Black Coat's Daughter by Oz Perkins, his first film. That one is even more of a slow burn, but let me tell you, it really comes together beautifully. Also, I would also recommend The Lodge. I don't know if you've heard of that one, but it is a very slow burn and a really dark one. But it's like remote, cold, like snowy cabin with like a stepmom and kids, and it is really fucked up, but really good. Very slow. Saint Maud, have you seen that?
Yes, I watched that on your recommendation after watching Rings of Power.
Yes, because we love Morfydd Clark, the actress who plays Galadriel in the Rings of Power show. Saint Maud is a fucking incredible, very slow burn too, where you don't really know where the horror's going. The Invitation, that one, like, it's almost like not even a horror film. The burn is so fucking slow there.
I mean, The Invitation feels like pacing wise, I wouldn't say The Invitation is a slow burn. Like The Invitation to me feels a lot like kind of Long Legs, where there's a mystery, what's going on, but there's a lot of things happening that kind of keep you hooked.
That's
but then
true.
The Invitation has the mystery of like, is this actually a cult or is this guy crazy? You know?
Yeah, and it feels like, I guess you're right. Like that is probably more like, but I would say for someone who just like sees more of like, you know, part of the general audience, like Long Legs, and that would be very slow burn for them. Like The Invitation would be a super slow burn. Another one I would love to shout out that is one, probably my favorite recommendation I've gotten from Mike Flanagan was Lake Mungo. And that is an Australian, like kind of found footage film, or not found footage. It's like it seems like a documentary. I had to make sure it wasn't real. It's really, really good. Very slow burn, very dark. A lot of these slow burns, I got to say, they turn out really dark at the end. Like but this one feels like it has that kind of fairy tale dark revenge twist, which gives it a little bit more of a positive feeling to me. Like I would say 9 out of 10 of these folk horror films are like slow burn. It's going to be to like a really bad ending, like for the character, right? Not in general, like they all have great endings, but like it's not going to work out well. So this is, I would say, the rare one where like it does work out well for our protagonist after all. But like a slow burn is just a certain vibe for people. If you like that, there's a bunch of others, but you know, I think I can't wait to see his next movie from Oz Perkins, The Young People, and like it'll probably be a whole different flavor. Who knows? But I'm into it.
Well, and especially with how successful The Backrooms is, the Oz produced The Backrooms.
Yes.
He was not an executive producer. He was not there for marketing. He full blown produced it.
Yes, he did.
So that made a lot of sense with the visual flair of The Backrooms. Now,
and I should point out too. Well, sorry, go ahead. You finished that.
I was going to ask you a wrap up question. So,
okay. I'll just point out then while we're talking about that was in case it matters to anybody, but the Keeper was not written by
it's the only
Oz
one
Perkins.
that wasn't written.
It's the only one, yeah. So the other two were written by him and directed, but the guy who wrote this movie, Nick Leppard, he also wrote Dangerous Animals from this past year, which we really enjoyed. The shark serial killer mashup film. So I think that those two movies in general are also very different from each other. So I like that this writer also seems to be like kind of in that vein where he can kind of do two totally different movies. Like one of them seems more campy and this one's way more like artsy, but like, you know, I just love the fact that they're also different from each other. And this one, like you said, is definitely the hardest one for people to watch, but it'll be, I think, the most rewarding overall.
And you said that this one was actually filmed first?
It was second. So I think they filmed The Monkey first.
Okay.
And then when they had a break between Long Legs before they could start shooting, they were like, let's make this one really quick. Because Tatiana Maslany and him had like this idea and they just are like, I don't know if it was them or the writer. Anyways, the Nick Leppard guy, they all three like kind of busted it out. And came up with the idea and then he wrote it and then they made it really quick with like a smaller crew than they even had for like the monkey and Longlegs. So
that would make sense. So then he wrote the monkey. Well, he adapted the monkey, and then somebody else wrote this, and then he wrote Longlegs while directing this movie.
I think so. Or maybe I think he already had Longlegs written. Like he wrote Longlegs and the monkey, like had them all ready to go. But then this one was just like something that they like came up with in the middle of it. So I guess that makes sense why he didn't write it, right? It's I'm already in pre-production on Longlegs, finishing post-production on the monkey. I don't have time to write a whole new script.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that they decided to do something extra because like anything that gives Tatiana Maslany a reason to be the star of something, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Please do this with every one of your other films, please, Oz Perkins.
So the closing question I wanted to ask you is, would you change the order of releases? So it was Longlegs, the monkey, then Keeper.
I don't know, because I don't know.
Would you make any changes?
I guess maybe just the only change I would say is maybe not marketing it as the scariest horror film of all time with Longlegs. That might have been the one that was detrimental. But like maybe if they started with, I think it kind of makes sense, actually, the way that they released it. To start with Longlegs and then go in a whole different direction with the monkey. Mm-hmm. That makes sense to me. And then to come back to like something that is way more closer in tone to Longlegs than the monkey also makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. And I think Longlegs, there's no other way to start this whole Oz Perkins mania without Longlegs.
Yeah, you have to start with Longlegs. I think the real question is just if you switch the monkey and Keeper, how does that affect the box office? Does Keeper do more, or
maybe Keeper does more and then maybe the monkey, but the monkey would still probably be fine because it's got the Stephen King name attached already.
Yeah. I guess I wonder if Keeper coming second would affect the box office of the monkey, sort of thing. I don't know. Me personally, I think the viewing order for this is Longlegs, Keeper, and then finish with the monkey.
I agree with that. I think you're right. I think the release order is fine, but I agree with you that I think the monkey is the way to finish because
it's a great note to end on. It's
Longlegs has
very
a pretty
funny,
dark ending.
Yeah.
And you're like, shit, I don't think we won after all. And then, I mean, although it does end with like Nick Cage winking and kissing at the screen. So like, that's kind of fun. But this one has kind of like a more upbeat ending. And then you really get the upbeat ending with like, well, everybody dies. That's how everything goes. Like, it's a really wonderful trilogy that way, I guess. I think you're right. I think that's the exact way to watch it. You're really doing yourself like a problem if you're not ending on the monkey, because that's just a fun time.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the monkey is going to be jarring for anyone, no matter the order.
Hard to pivot there and then go back. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think going from Longlegs to Keeper is less jarring because they're a similar kind of vibe. Longlegs is like the detective story, but it's still the ominous kind of tone and like what's going on here, and then you end on a good time drinking and watching the monkey.
And they're similar where they don't tell you a lot about what's going on like throughout the movie. Like you kind of learn stuff with the characters, but like again, you don't really get anything until the end. But I think the thing is that like a lot of people complain about the exposition dumps at the end of both of this, of Keeper and Longlegs, and I personally think like, what horror film does not have one of those where they have to tell you everything about what happened, where you learn everything? That's always what happens.
Yeah, and also the things that they tell you in Longlegs and in this don't really give you a full picture of what's going on. It just
no, it's all still very like I said, it's not hitting you over the head with anything by any means, at least in my opinion. And it feels like, again, maybe it feels like it's half baked or whatever. Like a lot of people said that this movie, like the whole exposition dump was stupid and didn't make sense. But I'm like, well, because you're getting it from the man who has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. I think that's the point of the movie, idiot. So first, and then for Longlegs, I'm like, again, you're getting it from the mother's point of view. And that's the point that we're supposed to be seeing, is like the fact that she loves her child enough to go murder families repeatedly and become like a Satan worshiper, basically, even though she was all religious to begin with. It's like, a really interesting look at like what mothers will do. And maybe not every mother will do that, but like certain mothers will go all that way, and maybe they shouldn't, you know. That's what I think is interesting, is like you're getting it from like another character, but people are just saying it, maybe it feels like too easy or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, what movie doesn't ever have an exposition dump? I just rewatched Shutter Island because I fucking love that film, and what an exposition dump that ending is, right? I mean, come on, you could say it literally about anything that has a twist. But especially in horror films, I feel like there's always going to be a part where you figure out who the killer is and why they're doing what they're doing. Hello, Scream, right? That's literally baked into the DNA of a Scream film, as we talked about last week.
I feel like the exposition thing is one of those gripes that people have, that there's no way to actually do it right. You either do it too much or you do it not enough and you don't know what's going on. And it's like, come on, people.
Yeah, either we're not going to give you any information. How about we just stop fucking telling you anything? That would be great, because everybody's so media literate now. They would really fucking love that, right? Like, no, maybe if people were smarter, we wouldn't have to hit you over the head with certain things. Hello, like on Netflix, you know, they really got to make sure that they're repeating things over and over for people watching on their phones. Like, that's upsetting. But these are the people that feels like, hey, maybe if we didn't act like that, or you didn't be confused about things that you should be watching the movie for, like, maybe then they wouldn't cater to people like that. But it seems that the majority of the audience wants answers and wants things explained. So then when they do, there's still always dissenters, no matter what. You're right. But it just feels like there's rare amount of films that have ever like nailed that, like the perfect amount of exposition dump at the end, which is like, name a film that doesn't have an exposition dump at the end. Anything that's a mystery or where you don't have the answers at the beginning. Basically anything that's not like, I mean, even documentaries are like that. I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
Like everything is like that. It's just one of those things. But I just think if we should be blessed and remember that we're blessed when we have filmmakers like Oz, the great and powerful Oz Perkins, who makes films like this that are maybe difficult and not like palatable for everyone, but that's the point. They're different, unique, and like he has a very distinct voice. We should celebrate that and not fucking complain.
All right, that is it for Keeper. And in my mind, that movie is a keeper. I enjoyed it. And
thank you.
Very, very curious to see what hat trick Oz Perkins has next. Or maybe he just won't do that, because I feel like 3 movies back to back to back is a lot. Peter Jackson.
I mean, he has the young people coming out this year, 2026. So he's just not.
He just can't stop.
Yeah, can't stop, won't stop. But excited for that for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, next week, we're getting into the midway point of the year. We're wrapping up June. And it seems like a good time to stop and just reflect on 2026. How we think the year is going for movies. You know, maybe talk about some TV shows. Maybe talk about our rankings for the year so far. What's our favorites that from this year, and then also, you know, looking forward to what we have for the rest of the year, because the rest of the year, as usual, the second half of the year is always stacked.
Yeah, we still have I feel like we've been eating good, but we've got even more on the way. So this will be a good time to just kind of take a minute and evaluate where we're at and see I feel like this could be another great year, like another banner year for horror, especially, but in general, we'll see how the rest of the movies are. Yeah. You know, but I feel like right now for horror, I'm feeling pretty strong.
Yeah, well, that will be a good, fun time. And that's it for this week. We'll see you next week on the regular exclusive podcast.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're out here.